The Odd Pod.
Odd Pod. Hello, welcome again to the Odd Pod. A couple of weeks ago, Manx Radio again sold out the Peel Centenary Centre with their team. A lot of you paid a tenner for your ticket and wandered in, not quite sure what to expect, and everybody stayed until the end, which was remarkable. Here's an excerpt then from IM19-ish live at the Peel Centenary Centre.
Manx Utilities insists a new hosepipe ban imposed after 10 days of totally unpredictable, quite warm weather in May is the right thing to do. After a winter described by the Met Office as 35% more miserable than usual, the MUA said it was unreasonable to expect that springtime would be any better. Under new emergency powers, the ban, which came into effect as soon as customers started wanting water, means anyone found with a hosepipe can be fined, imprisoned, or executed by firing squad. It's been described as yet another U-bend by the government, who earlier in the year had advised residents to hose their dirty dishes down in the garden and flush their toilets over and over again in order to get the levels in reservoirs down a bit. The Water Board says the ban will remain in place all summer, regardless of the weather. However, it will be removed in plenty of time for this year's Laxey floods.
The new minister at the DOI says it's possible the redesigned tram line on Douglas Promenade may be on a flyover. Tim Bakerlight says the prom is already shaping up to be a multi-level development, with the road surface at all sorts of different heights. Inspired by a recent holiday on the Glangothlin Canal, Mr Bakerlight says trams and horses could operate in a so-called aqueduct above the promenade, picking up passengers via a pulley and ladder system attached to lampposts. He reckons the best way forward for this so-called tram-in-the-sky development could be to use the established DOI technique of just going ahead and building it without any prior consultation in order to save hassle. Ramsey MHK, Laurie Hoopingcoff, has tweeted to say he thinks the idea is bollocks and that being shat on by an airborne seagull is bad enough, never mind a horse.
The Chief Minister has rejected claims that even after months of national emergency, the Minister for Home Affairs still has nothing of any use to say. Hashtag Howie Quayle was speaking shortly after Minister Graham Craig-Willies finally broke cover to host a press conference in which he stated, "You've all done very well." Minister Craig-Willies racked up his first press conference appearance following 850 appearances by Chief Minister Quayle, 849 appearances by Vice Chief Minister David Ashton under Lyme, 705 appearances by Education Minister Dr Alison Wonderland, 612 by Treasury Minister Alfred Bazooka, and even a respectable 6 by the MHK with responsibility for Manx knobs and dog poo, Jason Moorhen. Mr Quayle says Minister Craig-Willies, who was handed the portfolio shortly before the pandemic, has been too busy learning how to read. Sorry. Too busy learning how to read government press releases in public.
It's been claimed lockdown in the Isle of Man would have been achieved far more effectively if the Department of Infrastructure had been put in charge of organising it. The remarks came from Douglas East MHK Chris Robshaw Hotel, who said the department had been effectively hindering anyone from making journeys for decades with a minimum of effort and absolutely no consultation. Mr Robshaw Hotel had previously apologised to the House of Keys for arriving 2 hours late for a sitting, which he said was down to not allowing enough time for a journey into Douglas from Onchan, despite having set off the previous day.
And we've just heard a roads policing investigation into the new traffic layout at Governor's Bridge has concluded there is a high probability that someone could be seriously hurt. Chief Constable Gary Newman said following an investigation by a group of traffic officers, it was clear the person most likely to be injured was the knobhead in the DOI who came up with the layout.
The Odd Pod.
Odd Pod.